For the first time in American history, a former U.S. president has been convicted of a crime.
Donald Trump is found guilty on all 34 criminal charges against him by a New York jury, officially making him a felon. The jury deliberated for more than 9 hours before finding the former president guilty of falsifying business records in a scheme to illegally influence the 2016 election.
We have live team coverage of the verdicts, the reaction, and now what happens next. We begin with John Fenolio. He's here in the studio with us. John?
Sharon, Rick, that's right. Donald Trump will now go down in history as the first former president to become a convicted felon. The jury heard testimony against Mr. Trump for more than a month. It took them just 2 days to find him guilty on all felony charges. But tonight, the former president is vowing to fight on. The verdict came after 2 days of deliberation. A New York jury finding former President Trump guilty of 34 felony charges for illegally falsifying business records to cover up a hush money scheme aimed at influencing the 2016 election.
It is a stunning case.
KTLA legal analyst Allison Treasel says the prosecution was able to convince the 12-person jury beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Trump was personally involved in falsifying business records to commit or conceal another crime, specifically that $130,000 payment to silence adult film star Stormy Daniels over an alleged sexual encounter. At the center of the case against Mr. Trump, testimony from his former business associates, including ex-attorney and fixer Michael Cohen, who told the court Mr. Trump personally directed him to make the $130,000 hush money payment to Daniels just days before the election. Cohen also testified that Trump personally approved a plan to reimburse him for the hush money.
I'm a very innocent man.
The former president claims he did nothing wrong and that the trial was politically motivated.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Sentencing is scheduled for July 11th. The charges are punishable by up to 4 years in prison for each count. Most legal experts think prosecutors will request prison time, but the decision is ultimately up to the judge.
It is too early for me to say with absolute certainty, but given his lack of criminal record, given his age, I don't believe that this court will sentence him to jail or prison.
But felony convictions have other consequences.
Well, felony convictions disable one from a variety of privileges, including in some states the ability to vote, in some states the ability even to be on the ballot. It also can serve as a means of impeaching one's credibility were one to testify in a trial, especially for crimes that go to the accused or defendant's honesty.
All right, Mr. Trump's defense team says they will appeal the decision, but that process is unlikely to wrap up before the November election. Trump will remain free on his own recognizance until sentencing on July 11th. That, by the way, is just 4 days before the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, where former President Trump is expected to become the GOP nominee for president. Rick, Cher.
John, thank you. And reaction to the guilty verdicts has been swift and intense. Republican lawmakers called it a dark day in America, while many Democrats feel that justice had been done. And as expected, Donald Trump supporters echoed his response, saying it was a, quote, rigged and disgraceful trial.
And the Democrats again saying that no man is above the law. Mary Beth McDade has reaction to today's historic decision. MB.
Rick and Cher, many, as you mentioned, are reacting to this historic verdict tonight, from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to the White House, Trump's family, and attorneys involved in this historic case. Here's what a few had to say.
I did my job. We did our job. Many voices out there. The only voice that matters is the voice of the jury, and the jury has spoken.
12 New Yorkers declared 34 times that Donald Trump was guilty of falsifying business records to cover up a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels, making him the first former president to become a convicted felon.
At the end of the day, they looked past what we thought were fatal flaws in Mr. Cohen's story and his past.
The Biden campaign released a statement saying, in part, "In New York today, we saw that no one is above the law. Donald Trump has always mistakenly believed he would never face consequences for breaking the law for his own personal gain." House Speaker Mike Johnson said, "Today is a shameful day in American history." Democrats cheered as they convicted the leader of the opposing party on ridiculous charges predicated on the testimony of a disbarred convicted felon. He's referring to the prosecution's key witness and former Trump attorney Michael Cohen, who appeared on MSNBC.
34 counts, one after the other, after the other, after the other, of guilty. It's accountability. It's exactly what America needs.
Democratic Representative Adam Schiff sent KTLA this video statement.
Our democracy is under enormous pressure and stress by this most corrupt of former presidents, and the jury did its work.
Trump's possible VP pick, Republican Senator Tim Scott, had a much different take on the verdict.
I can't believe the hoax, this sham, this absolute injustice justice system. DA Bragg and the judge should be ashamed of themselves.
And Trump's children reacted, including Eric Trump, who was in court for the verdict. Eric posted on X, "May 30th, 2024 might be remembered as the day Donald J. Trump won the 2024 presidential election." And Trump's daughter, Ivanka, posted this picture saying, "I love you, Dad."
And then just hours after the guilty verdicts, former President Trump attended a fundraiser in Manhattan. He is expected to hold a press conference at Trump Tower tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock our time. Cher, we'll send it back over to you.
Mary Beth, thank you, and stay with KTLA for continuing coverage on the conviction of former President Trump. Coming up at 10:30, we're going to take a look at what happens next and whether the verdict will make a difference for voters.
Now that former President Trump has been convicted of 34 felony counts, what happens next? Could he go to prison? What about an appeal? Can he still vote? Trump is going to be sentenced on July 11th, just 4 days before the Republican National Convention.
So will Trump's convictions affect the election, and will voters be swayed by today's verdict? Rachel Menitoff is live in the KTLA News Center with more on what's next for President Trump and the upcoming presidential election. Rachel.
Cher, Rick, our legal experts tell us it's highly likely the prosecution will ask for some kind of jail time, but the decision will ultimately be up to a judge. It's probably unlikely that Trump will actually be incarcerated, but this doesn't mean he's a free man.
This was a disgrace.
Former President Donald Trump will soon be sentenced to 34 felony counts. He's then looking at a few possibilities. One is time behind bars. Another is felony probation for a period of 3 to 5 years. KTLA legal analyst Allison Treasel says instead of a jail sentence, a judge might require he do community service or serve at-home confinement. He would report to a probation officer and not be allowed to own a firearm. In this scenario, he can still vote, but has to get permission anytime he wants to leave the state of New York.
So this is all new to all of us, but certain things are absolute. And one is he can still run for president. There's no bar for him to run and be elected president. And in fact, he can, if he does do time in custody, he can even be sworn in as president while behind bars.
Treasel believes it's unlikely Trump will do time, given he has no prior criminal record, is on the older side, and isn't a flight risk. But how will this conviction impact his campaign for president?
There's a lot of forces kind of pushing against this being detrimental to him. He's trying to spin it to potentially even be positive for him.
Mindy Romero is the director of USC's Center for Inclusive Democracy. She says it's still early and a lot can happen between now and November.
I'm very interested to see what the leadership within the Republican Party and leadership within the kind of the donor class do. Again, I don't expect anything terribly overt, but kind of more quietly, are there shifts? And then also, are they lasting?
And what will voters say? According to an April survey from CNN, SSRS, 76% of Trump supporters said they would support him regardless. 24% said they might reconsider their support for him if convicted. Of course, polls aren't always accurate, and you'll find a range of reactions speaking to Los Angeles voters.
Whatever they're trying to do to Trump, he's going to be the president. There's no doubt about it.
He's done some wild things in the past, and I think people love him or they don't.
There might be some changed opinions, let's be real, because at the end of the day, people do follow a certain line. They always follow the crowd, but there's still going to be supporters that are going to be supporting him, of course.
Trump has promised to appeal his conviction, and there's no doubt the appellate process will take a long time. It could be years before the case makes its way up to New York's higher courts, and it might eventually reach the Supreme Court if and when Trump exhausts all options in New York State. He still has 3 criminal cases pending, and it's unclear if they will move forward before the election. That's the latest from the News Center. I'm Rachel Menitoff. Rick, back to you in the studio.
Rachel, it'll be interesting to watch. We thank you for that.